talking with two stars in a different field. Oh, now all you gorgeous women can have pretty feet, too. As well as what? Janis Joplin and Gloria Swanson. What? Oh, I made no transition there. I'm sorry. Do you, Miss Swanson, fight the battle of the midi, the mini, and I was trying to gauge the length of your costume.
I wonder
dress.
if the lady saw it when I came in. Did you see that it was
It's a little longer,
in between? But you
yeah.
know, this is really you were on a cloud then in the 1938 probably. And in the 30s, this is the way we dressed. I have to stand up to show you this.
Stand up. I'll also have to stand up, too.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Well, I have to see.
There.
Oh, I have to sit down to see?
Now, that's it. I don't think that length is bad, do you?
No.
You like it?
I don't
well, the
mind.
men don't usually.
It isn't, you know, it's...
Yes, but now look what happened. See? Now that's a long coat, but the dress is short. See?
So you have the best of two worlds.
3 worlds.
Yeah, you got several lengths. I don't get too excited about the lengths of dresses, do you?
I think you should wear what's most becoming.
Sure.
Well, I don't like that. I like that or that. You know? It's not very flattering to a woman's legs, I don't think.
I know. There's one length that seems like you cannot make up your mind.
Makes you
and
klutzy.
that's the one that bothers
Well,
me.
I just stood up in it, because that's the in-between one, the midi.
That's nice.
But on you, it looks fine. I don't know what it is. Maybe you have the stature for it, or something
really?
like that.
Yes, at 5'2".
You're all
no,
of
5'1", I think I am. I've shrunk.
Could I ask you about a thing that film buffs know about? There's a mysterious movie that you were involved in one time called Queen Kelly.
Oh, mysterious.
Well, it never was seen, was it?
Well, of course it's been seen in the museums, but anyway.
Well, then that's not the right one.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
There was
That's
one
it.
that you left or something.
I was producing it, and I walked off the set and
that's
knew
it.
that it was all going to be on the cutting room floor, because in those days we really had censorship.
Mm-hmm.
We had a man that we were scared to death of, and his name was Will Hayes, and he was the czar. And if he said you couldn't do something, he meant it, because in those days we had women's clubs who would boycott your pictures, and of course then there would be no help to the studio you were working for. And this organization had okayed the script, but what Mr. von Stroheim was doing, to wit, when he got alone on the set, was quite different. A dance hall became one of those places, you know.
No.
And that they closed down in France. They've closed them down all over the place, but they still exist, you know.
Well, you mean it was written as a dance hall, but
Yeah.
when you got there it was something else?
Well, there it was. I mean, obviously it was one of those places, and I knew it would be on the cutting room floor, and so I was responsible for the money, and I didn't like the money going down the drain.
Well, let me ask you how you knew that it was, where you learned that it was one of those places. Where did you learn it?
Because, quite frankly...
I mean, when you got there for the day to work? No, what I'm asking is, when did you find out? When they started shooting? Had the dialogue been changed?
Yes, well, it had been, for instance, I had been in France, I'd been all over the place, and I'm not exactly a prude, and I had heard about brothels, if you want the word. Mm-hmm. And also, I'd heard what goes... I was in Germany when boys were dressing like girls in 1922. I saw them, and they were so beautiful. The men thought they were girls, but they weren't. So I have seen everything, so that a lot of what's going on today is kind of, in some instances, a bad imitation. But at any rate...
but it shouldn't be illegal, just because somebody up there doesn't like it. I mean, like
well, in
when
those
you were making movies, like this... XYZ was considered risque and you couldn't do it. Well, now they're doing it. Well, back then you couldn't drink because they didn't like it, you know, right?
Well, you couldn't.
Now you can't smoke grass. Now, back then you couldn't be a flapper because they didn't like it, and now you can't play rock and roll. That seems to me that the people that went through all that prohibition and flapper and all that time should realize that, you know, young people are always crazy, you know, and to leave us alone.
Well, at the time they don't. In those days, you couldn't even knit or crochet a bootie.
In a movie?
In a movie, because then they'd say you're pregnant. No, I'm not making this up. This is absolutely the truth.
I still haven't found out how you found out that the scene you thought was a dance hall.
Well, never, because I had seen it. I had read about it.
Because it looks like one, man.
Well, you had your...
You mean when they yelled action, they meant action?
No. It was a dance hall with a mixture of a lot of different races, and it was obviously, and people knew about it, naturally knew that this was wrong. And this is Mr. von Stroheim wanting to be, as he was a heck of a great director, he wanted realism, and he was going to have it. But he should not have put it in the script if he knew that it was going to be on the cutting room floor.
Well, all I meant was, did you find out that when you got there to report for work, that what you thought was one thing was something else? Did you find out?
Yes, and also a few other things, which is 9 o'clock in the morning to have someone drooling tobacco juice on your hand wasn't exactly appetizing to me, and since I knew that would also be on the cutting room floor, because it was my picture, I was producing it. I was not only the actress in it, but I was responsible for the money, and also I was producing it, and I knew what he had been doing. Although the bankers had wanted to put 2 people in charge so that this wouldn't happen. I don't know where these 2 people were, because they didn't see what was going on. I was on the set every day, so naturally working, I knew what was going on.
Over the director?
Well, he was a little difficult to control, and this is why they had put somebody in charge of just watching him, like nursemaiding him, you know.
That's Eric von Stroheim.
Yes. And so I just went to, said, excuse me, went to the telephone in my bungalow and called New York and called the bankers and said that most of what we're shooting is going to be on the cutting room floor, plus the fact that we're now over time, over scheduled, over budget, everything, and most of it's going to be cut out, because you can't take 20 reels and make 1/3 of a picture out of it.
And
this is when pictures were only an hour and 20 minutes. You know.
So you took a financial bath, as they say.
I certainly did.
Wow.
But it was all paid back by the next talking picture. You know the theme song they were playing for me, Love Your Magic Spell Is Everywhere?
Yeah.
Well,
that
was the first talking picture, the picture that I did right after Queen Kelly, and all the profits of that, not all of it, but a great deal of money went to paying the bankers back for the losses on Queen Kelly, which was on a shelf, and now a lot of people...
Can it be seen today?
Well, it's sort of an unfinished thing if somebody wants to see it, but I must say, the youngsters are amazing to me. They have a passion for old pictures, and they have a tremendous interest in it, and they are keeping them alive, actually. Yeah. What the studios... I wish we'd had more youngsters watching it then. The film, they've allowed it to disintegrate. Most of them are sawdust now.
I heard a story where in one studio they had barrels and barrels of old nitrate films, the only prints, and they had a fire scene that they needed to make for another movie, and they burned the film for it.
Please don't. Just make me say Queen Kelly was in. Not Queen Kelly, but Madame Saint-James was probably in that one.
Might have been. We talked about that, I think, when
yes,
we were here. Yeah, it's a nice thing. I'm reading this now. It's a nice thing to get a lift from a commercial, so get ready for one, because you're going to get a lift right now from the people at Pepsi.